Okay, time for another Josh cast. Here's the thing. I want to record a Zoom special. I don't know. Maybe it's a half hour. Maybe it's an hour. I'm going to do it in October. I'll have dates shortly. I just need to make sure I can secure a venue. Joke number one. Cry. And at first I was telling myself, well, this is hard to do because I'm not able to get up physically, so how am I able to do this? But I've realized, you know what I've realized? Whenever I give coronavirus as an excuse, and then I step back and I think about it, I realize that coronavirus is no excuse. That we're all figuring out a way to have the lives or live the lives or do the things that we did before. And it may not be ideal, but, before coronavirus, I was, doing mics, doing shows, getting up about once or twice a night. And now I'm doing the same thing. It's all on Zoom. So in a weird way, nothing has really changed for me. That's the advantage of being a relative failure is that I'm still at the bottom. Like the comedians I feel sorry for are the ones who were playing gigantic theaters. And to go from that to nothing, that's got to be, they had a long way to fall. With me, it was like, I've gone from doing this open mic in front of 20 people to doing this Zoom open mic in front of 10 to 15 people. It's really not much collateral damage here. Is collateral damage even the right term? You get the idea. So I'm really trying to focus on that and write out the set and really know exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm torn because on the one hand, there are jokes I've been doing for a while that I should do, but on the other hand, I like the idea of always doing new stuff. I get I get bored with repetition, and I'm very bad about tightening and editing. That's my Achilles heel. But I'm really challenging myself to do this, get this on its feet, and then record it. And I don't know. I don't know what I'll do with it afterwards. Probably just self-release it. And it will be, my friends, what it will be. I'm also trying to... I feel like I've gotten away from being authentic and talking about how I feel. So I'm working on getting into that a bit more. And, not even so much that, because there was a period where after this coronavirus thing happened, where I just suddenly had more confidence. And now, that's kind of ebbed a little bit, and I'm feeling, it's not even a confidence thing. I'm feeling, I feel like the pre-COVID depression has returned. And the danger with depression for me is that it's not very interesting comedically. It's not very interesting on stage. It's just sad. It's a sad energy to be in. And I've read that depression is anger turned inward, and the joke I have for that is, I'm not trying to get better. I'm just trying to turn my anger outward now. I'm just trying to go on the offensive. And I've noticed, when I do that on stage, people seem to react a bit better than when I don't do that. I just had some tender greens. It was good. The sauce was a bit fancy. It's a bit rich. And I think I'm going to be paying for this sauce. That's my prediction. I spent Labor Day. I did a little bit of work on Labor Day. But it's that thing where if I don't do some work today, I'm going to have twice as much tomorrow, and I'd rather just not have twice as much tomorrow. So I came in and I did some today. And I've been making these TikTok videos and it's just me rambling for a minute. And last week I put up a video where I was talking about feeling suicidal, and that got I wasn't trying to be funny, and that got the most views. And what I love about me, there's a part of me that's like, well, it wasn't funny, so you have to make it. If you're not getting the views because of the comedy, then it doesn't count. But I also think, and I am feeling better. I should point that out. The other revelation, but I have friends who I've known for years, and I get this feeling every 6 months, and they're used to it, so they don't reach out anymore. It's the people who don't know me who are like, oh, I'm here for you if you want to talk. And I'm appreciative that people say I'm here for you. I'm appreciative of the people who say that. I understand why they're saying that, but there's a part of me that I don't want to talk. I don't. I've been through therapy. I've done the Al-Anon meetings. I've talked. I'm done talking. I don't know. He said while recording a podcast. I guess what I want is I want to talk, record it, and then get paid for it. I want to find a way like that. And there was one guy on TikTok who said, it was a backhanded compliment, and yet it also wasn't. He said, watching you suffer makes me feel better. And you know what? If that's my niche, I'll take it at this point. Because I know they say that money doesn't buy happiness, but I'm not trying to buy happiness. I'm trying to buy health insurance and a nice car and a place with a shower that actually works. I'm not interested in happiness at all. Even if happiness was available and reasonably priced, I'd pass. I don't think there is such a thing as happiness for me, and I may extend this to say my whole family. We're not into that. I think it's what we're into is quiet. My goal is not happiness. My goal is minor aggravation. If I can get through a day where it's minor aggravation, where I'm complaining but not also complaining and crying at the same time, that's happiness for me. And maybe that's what it is with happiness. I just need to relabel what happiness is. For most people, happiness is, if you think of the images that equate with happiness, you think of a sunshiny day, people smiling, people laughing, people frolicking. I think for me, happiness is mild back pain, complaining about the weather, aggravated that I am allergic to milk products. That for me, I'm going to go ahead and say that is happiness. And here's the other thing I've discovered, by the way. Because we're in such a horrible time right now, and because everyone around me is stressed and depressed as well, I no longer even feel like I'm depressed, but I also, I guess I don't feel like I'm lower than everybody else. Everyone else is now at my level. So I hate to say this, but if you're depressed, find people who are worse and be around them, and then it kind of does, it gives you a little bounce. I don't know. At least it does for me. And that probably speaks to a whole neuroses that I haven't even really covered yet with a therapist. So these are the things I'm working on, really working on. What we teach, or at least when I'm teaching comedy, which I feel weird doing because I don't know, maybe I know something about it. Is that me false humble? A little bit. But by the same token, what do I know? Well, I know, I think I know enough to help other people. And that's usually, I think all teachers, that's that's what can be said for all teachers. They know enough to help other people. They can't help themselves. Oh God, no. No, no, no. I'm the last person I can help. I'm too close to it. I'm way too close to it. But anyway, what I tell other people to do is you either need to complain about something or confess something. And what I was taught and what I agree with is that the confessions are more powerful than the complaints. That when a joke is based on a confession, it's more there's something that's more powerful about it. And I've been good on the complaints. I feel like I haven't been as good on the confessions. So I want to. That's where I want to focus. I want to focus on the confessions. So I can't even remember if I talked about this recently, but here's one. Here's one. I look at both straight and gay porn. Let's jump right in. And in terms of what I consider myself, I guess technically the term is bisexual. I'm more attracted to women than I am to men. 9 times out of 10. And the joke I have on that is I'm more attracted to women than I am to men, and I'm terrified that that's going to be appealing to neither sex. But I like looking at both. And nothing. There was no one. I couldn't feel. I didn't feel like I could talk about it until maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Because when I was growing up, there was everything I heard about bisexuals when I was growing up was basically this: there's no such thing as a bisexual. If you're bisexual, you're just gay, and and you don't want to admit it. That was the party line on bisexuality, and it was very strange because I was I grew up in a world that was not necessarily it didn't feel oppressive per se. No one, everyone in my family has been very supportive and friends and what have you, and I never felt discriminated against or unsupported. But what there wasn't was any meaningful dialogue about how we don't all fit into a neat category. And sometimes there are people who are not 100% straight and 100% gay. In fact, probably most times. And it wasn't until after college and actually reading and doing some research and watching the movie Kinsey where I began to realize that there's no absolute, there's no one right sexuality, and at the end of the day, I feel what I feel, and thinking about it, is or trying to deny it or trying to explain it. There's no point. Like my penis will point to something and go, I want that. And it's pointless for me to go, well, why that and not, where did that come from? The penis is like, I don't know. I'm not the brain. I'm just telling you, I look at that, I think things. So you take it or leave it. And then I think to myself, well, how should I act? Knowing this, should I be, how does this affect how I speak? Should I change how I speak? And then I say to myself, no, you shouldn't do any of that. You should just do what you do and be you. Be you, boo. Be you. It's not, I don't see, there aren't movie characters like this yet. Because again, I think I feel like movie and TV characters it's all extremes. They're straight or they're gay or even now as we see more characters who are bisexual, it's very, even they are very, how do I describe it? How do I guess, I don't want to say that they're very confident in it, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the only exception, there was one exception. There was a character in Chicago Hope. There was a doctor who was gay, and I think admitted it to a fellow doctor, halfway through the season after we'd already met him. And the way that they did that, where it was no big deal, now that I think of it, that really stuck with me. That it wasn't, that he wasn't portrayed as a cliche. And that was really good. And I think that's, there needs to be more of that. I have been with a woman. I've never been with a man. I've come to the conclusion that I don't want to, because then people will say, well, you need to go out and experiment. You need to go out and, figure it out. And I don't want to go out. I don't want to have sex with someone just because. I tried the casual sex thing, and it didn't work for me. I reserve the right to change on this, by the way, because the other thing I've learned about sex is that sometimes it just happens. That's what happened to me. I mean, it really just, I didn't plan to lose my virginity at 32. Things just kind of fell into place. Namely, she said, "You wanna?" And I said, "Okay." And then it happened. And no one else has really come forward since. Well, maybe one or two people, but but what I learned after this first experience was I just haven't. It hasn't worked since. Some people have been interested in me. I haven't been interested in them. I was interested in some people. They weren't interested in me. So it's just been and I haven't been actively going out pursuing, which I hate doing. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. I hate pursuing because because I just feel it always feels best in my life. Things always have seemed to work out the best when they just happen spontaneously. And you know what? If that's the wrong philosophy, fine. There are people who say, no, you got to date 100 people before you find the da-da-da-da-da. I don't like that. Even the verbs that are associated with, like, pursuing. I mean, that's such a stupid way of describing being in a relationship. I mean, what am I, hunting a whale? What is this? Am I, am I a hunter with a gun? We're pursuing. We're in pursuit. A police officer. And then there's the whole idea of the thrill of the chase and all that jazz. I could care less. Not that I could care less. It's that I'm not interested in the art of the seduction. Another thing I've been playing with, but it's not that I don't fantasize about the give and take and the ooh, is she into me? Is she not into me? What is what are the signals and the tango that is getting into a relationship? My fantasy jumps, like 5 months or a year into the relationship where all that's done and we're just together and we're getting along and things haven't gone south yet. That's, my idea of a sexual fantasy. So it's basically, I guess my idea of a sexual fantasy at this point are the early seasons of Mad About You. That's what I'm looking for. Very exciting, as I'm sure you will know. I don't know what that "I'm sure you will know" means. Now, I was, with this podcast, trying to, spruce it up and do sketches and all that kind of thing. And the last couple of weeks, I've been, I'll just keep it more real. I don't know what this will come to. I feel like, other than Bill Burr, who can do a one-man podcast. Should I be doing a one-man podcast? I don't know. I mean, Bill Burr has such strong opinions about things. I have strong opinions too, but even my voice saying that, you don't believe it. I have strong opinions too. Yeah, I've got very strong opinions about, chocolate ice cream versus vanilla ice cream. Yeah. So, I think, how are we doing? It's about 20 minutes. That feels good. This feels right. This feels about right. I like this. I think we learned, we grew. There we go.